Hi everyone, I'm Helen from Susan's family. Today I'm bringing you the running horse vest. It's made up of the body, front body, back body, connections, crocheting the edging and decorations. Start by crocheting the body. After completion, pick up the corresponding areas to crochet the front and back bodies. Then connect the shoulders. Next, pick up the corresponding areas and crochet the edging separately. Finally, make and attach the decorations. The vest comes in adult and children's sizes. Among them, children's sizes have multiple options. The making method is the same, only the stitch count, row count, and color changes differ slightly. From now on, I'll demonstrate and explain using the smallest size as an example. Any differences for other sizes will be explained separately. Let's start crocheting the body. Using chain cast on, then crochet back and forth along the foundation chain in rounds. Create the corresponding pattern through color changes during the process. The stitches used include chain stitches, double crochets and slip stitches. The smallest size also uses half double crochets. Watch me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. The original yarn here is this gradient yarn. The starting color segments of this yarn vary, resulting in slightly different effects when crocheted. The finished product here begins with the darkest color segment, switching colors with the lightest segment for crocheting. Subsequent color segment changes will create a gradual gradient effect. You can refer to the finished product for reference here, or choose your preferred starting color segment. Additionally, different yarn balls have varying gradient lengths, so the position of the gradient effect isn't fixed. Also, pay attention that this type of yarn is quite special. There might be some difficulty in unraveling. You can learn the method first, and then proceed with crocheting. For easier viewing, I'll demonstrate using cotton yarn here. Color scheme is random. For specific yarn, color schemes and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and paper instructions. Before you start crocheting, first, refer to the gauge swatch diagram on the pattern. Follow the video for the stitch pattern technique. Crochet a gauge swatch. Then, based on the measurement results, adjust your tension or switch to the appropriate hook size to meet the required dimensions of the gauge swatch. First, cast on. Pick up the corresponding yarn. Start with a chain cast on. Hang the yarn properly on your left hand. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Make a slip knot. Gently pull to tighten. Then start crocheting chain stitches. Keep the chains not too tight here. You can make them slightly loose. Complete the corresponding number of stitches. Everyone check it. The loop on the hook doesn't count as one stitch. It's not included. Count the V-shaped loops from the left side. Each loop represents one stitch. Here the original yarn's chain stitches aren't very clear. Be careful when counting. Smooth out the chains as you count. Keep the textured side facing up. Count to the last chain stitch position. After confirming the stitch count is correct, pick up the last chain stitch loop. Insert the hook into the upper strand. Work one slip stitch to join. This joining slip stitch doesn't count as one stitch. Slightly tighten. The starting chain is now complete. The chain stitches form a loop here. Check to make sure the chains aren't twisted. Now begin the first round. Make 3 beginning chains. These 3 chains count as 1 double crochet, match with the chain stitch position below. Skip 2 chain spaces to the left without working. Pick up the next chain stitch position. Pick the upper strand of its braid. Insert the hook and work 3 double crochets. I consider the 3 stitches worked in one position as a leaf. Continue skipping 2 chain spaces to the left without working. Pick up the braid of the next chain stitch, the upper strand, work a leaf. Skip 2 stitches afterward. Pick the upper strand of the corresponding chain stitch braid. Work a leaf. Complete the last leaf. Skip 2 chain stitches downward. Reach the beginning position. Pick the same position. Work 2 double crochets. Here pick the position where the slip stitch was inserted before. Add the beginning chain. This also counts as working 1 leaf. Pick the 3rd chain from the top of the beginning chain. Insert hook into the 2 strands near the edge. Work 1 slip stitch to join. Similarly, the joining slip stitch doesn't count as 1 stitch. Tighten it. The first round is complete. We'll consider the side with neat stitch pattern of this round as the right side of the fabric. The wrong side has a relatively blurred texture. Work the second round downward. Some sizes need to change colors here. Some sizes change colors after completing the beginning chain. Some sizes don't change colors for the first few stitches. The stitch count also varies slightly here. I'll still use the smallest size as an example. First, demonstrate the case where no color change happens for the first few stitches. For this case, other stitch methods are identical. Position corresponds to the chart. Continue from the previous yarn tail. Make 3 beginning chains as the turning chain. Counts as 1 double crochet. Corresponds to the previous beginning chain position. Then turn the work. This round is crocheted on the wrong side. Pick up the gap between these 2 leaves to the left. Work 2 double crochets. Then work 1 more double crochet in the same position. Just change colors for the next stitch. Change colors while making double crochets here. First work an incomplete double crochet. Yarn over. Insert. Yarn over and pull through. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. 2 loops remain. That's an incomplete double crochet. Now pick up the color segment to change to. Actually use the lightest color segment. Use the lightest color segment from another yarn ball to change colors. One skein starts with the darkest segment. The other skein starts with the lightest segment. Then continue crocheting in the order of color segments. I'm still using cotton yarn for demonstration. Pick up the color to change to. Leave a long yarn tail underneath. Hang the yarn with the left hand. Place it on the wrong side of the fabric. Yarn over and draw through all loops on your hook. Adjust slightly. This completes the double crochet, and completes the color change. Place the yarn being changed on the wrong side of the fabric as well. For convenience of explanation, I'll refer to the first color segment as color 1, the other as color 2. Next, use color 2 to work a leaf. Since we'll switch back to color 1 later, for the third stitch of the leaf, change colors while crocheting. Skip the adjacent leaf to the left. Insert the hook into the gap between the two leaves on the left side. First, make 2 double crochets. Hide the yarn tail while crocheting. At the same time, carry color 1 while crocheting. After completing, work an incomplete double crochet. Then pick up color 1. Remember to place all changed yarns on the wrong side of the fabric. Here, smooth out the yarn slightly. Keep the fabric flat. Yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook. Complete the double crochet. Also complete the color change. Next, use color 1. Pick the gap between leaves to the left. Work a leaf. Continue crocheting until one stitch before the leaf with color 2. Carry the changed yarn while crocheting. Hide the short yarn tail while crocheting. Carry and weave in the yarn on the wrong side. Continue picking the gap between leaves to work a leaf. Change colors at the third stitch. Reach the corresponding position. Continue inserting the hook into the same position to make an incomplete double crochet. Then change colors. For the rest of this round, insert the hook into the gaps between leaves to work leaves. When encountering the next leaf in another color, the last stitch of the previous leaf needs to be an incomplete double crochet for color change. Always keep the dropped yarn on the wrong side of the fabric. While crocheting, carry the dropped yarn along as you work. Continue with this method. Refer to the chart and complete this round. The last 2 double crochets should be worked in the gap between leaves on the right side of the beginning chain. Once completed, Pick up the third chain from the turning chains. Pick up both strands. Insert the hook to make a slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes round 2 for the smallest size. Here I demonstrated the method for the first few stitches without changing colors, and the method for changing colors while crocheting. Next, I'll explain the method for changing colors after completing the turning chains. The method for changing colors while crocheting is the same as before, so I won't repeat it. Here I'll demonstrate using this swatch. Starting from the yarn tail of round 1, first work 2 chain stitches. Then pick up the color you need to change to. Leave a long yarn tail. Place it behind, on the wrong side of the fabric. Then yarn over and pull through. At this point, the third chain stitch is completed, and the color change is done. Then turn the work over. Continue crocheting the leaves and change colors as needed. Hide the yarn tails while crocheting the edging. Similarly, all yarn tails from color changes are on the wrong side of the fabric, and carrying the yarn is also done on the wrong side. At the end, work into the third chain of the turning chains. Pick up 2 secure strands to join with a slip stitch. This is the method for changing colors at the beginning chain position. Next, let's explain the starting color change method. First, handle the yarn tails from this round. Pull a large loop. Pull the fabric or yarn ball through the loop. Gently tighten the yarn. Then pick up the color you need to change to. Insert the hook into the gap between leaves on the left side of the beginning chain from the previous round. Make a slip knot. Place it on the crochet hook. Pull through. Adjust slightly. Then make the turning chains. Here you also need to change colors after the beginning chain, so work 2 chain stitches. Then pick up the color you need to change to, which is the yarn tail from the end of the previous round. Yarn over and pull through. Color change is complete. Continue crocheting downward using the previous method. This is the method for starting a color change. Now all situations for round 2 have been explained. Move on to work round 3. When encountering the same situation as before later, crochet according to the method explained earlier. I won't repeat the explanation later. From now on, I'll explain using the smallest size as an example. Other sizes can be learned first, then refer to their respective charts for crocheting. Here, after completing the beginning chain, switch colors. For convenience while crocheting, we carry the yarn as we work. First make 2 chain stitches with color 1. Carry color 2 while crocheting. Then switch to color 2 for the third chain stitch. Then turn the work. This round is crocheted on the right side. Continue to the left, pick up the gaps between leaves from the previous round and correspondingly make leaves. When reaching the third leaf on the left side, switch to color 1. First work until there's 1 stitch remaining before the color change. Pay attention to carry the yarn while crocheting. Change colors at the corresponding position. All color changes are done while working double crochets. Place the unused yarn on the wrong side of the fabric, which is behind the fabric at this moment. Then use color 1 to crochet 1 leaf. Switch to color 2 at the 3rd stitch. Carry the yarn while crocheting as well. Continue following the chart for color changes afterward. The switched yarn and carried yarn always stay on the wrong side of the fabric. The last 2 double crochets go into the right side of the beginning chain, between the gaps of the leaves. Finally at the top of the beginning chain. In the 3rd chain stitch, the chain here is a bit twisted. Pick the right side of the first double crochet. Insert hook into 2 strands for a secure stitch. Since the next round starts with color 2 crocheting, you can carry it above when making the slip stitch. Tighten after completing. The 3rd round is complete. Continue to crochet the 4th round. Need to change colors at the beginning. First handle the yarn tail from the previous round's end. Then into the beginning chain of the previous round. Insert hook into the gap on the left side. Pick up color 2. Draw the yarn through. Keep color 1 in place. This entire round will be crocheted with color 2. Color 1 will be needed for the starting position of the next round. So carry the yarn when making the beginning chain stitch. Make 3 beginning chains. Then keep color 1 in place. Turn the work over. Starting from the gap between the leaves on the left. Work into each stitch in sequence for the leaves. Finish by slip stitching into the top of the beginning chain. There are many yarn tails here. Insert hook into 2-3 relatively stable strands. Tighten to complete. Round 4 is done. Now we can refer to the chart to check the dimensions. If the dimensions differ significantly, Adjust your tension or change hooks and recrochet as needed. Also check the starting point. The fabric should be flat here. If it's gathering inward too much, the starting chain was worked too tight. Similarly, restart with new cast on and recrochet. Make the starting chain looser. Next, work round 5. Begin using color 1 for crocheting. Handle the color 2 yarn. Then insert hook into the gap adjacent to the beginning chain. Yarn over with color 1 and pull through. Color change needed at the beginning chain position. Work 2 chain stitches first. Carry the yarn while crocheting. Place the unused color 2 yarn on the wrong side of the fabric. Turn the work over. This round is worked on the right side of the fabric. Refer to the chart for color changes in subsequent rounds. Continue to round 6 after completion. No new techniques or issues encountered. Follow the chart to complete these 2 rounds directly. All odd-numbered rounds are worked on the right side. Both the carried yarn and unused colors stay on the wrong side of the fabric. Even-numbered rounds are worked on the wrong side. Both the carried yarn and unused colors stay in front of the fabric. Carry the yarn when starting each round with beginning chains. All yarn tail marks remain on the wrong side of the fabric. Be mindful not to show them on the right side. Proceed to round 7 after completion. This round uses only one color for crocheting, which means using color 1, the starting position for color 2 in the next round. The first few stitches won't be used. Here we first bring color 2 up to the top when making the beginning chains, then carry it to the color change position when crocheting the next round. First make beginning chains with color 2. Then place it back in position. Turn the work. Continue downward with color 1 to complete this round. Finish with a slip stitch on the beginning chains. Pull tight. The 7th round is complete. Continue crocheting the 8th round downward. Continue using the yarn from the previous round. Carry the other color while crocheting the edging. Then continue to follow the chart for color changes. Finish with a slip stitch on the beginning chains. Pull tight. The 8th round is complete. Remaining rounds after this, continue to follow the chart for crocheting. For the smallest size, the last row requires half double crochets. For other sizes, simply complete the body area. Note that other sizes will also use half double crochets later. It's recommended to learn them together. I won't repeat the demonstration when encountered later. Now I'll demonstrate the last round for the smallest size. Starting from the previous yarn tail, first make 2 chains as beginning chains. These 2 chains count as 1 half double crochet. Turn the work. Pick up the gap on the left side of the adjacent leaf. Work 1 half double crochet. I won't need the other color yarn here later. Place it aside for now. This round only requires this color for crocheting. Continue with 2 double crochets in the same position. Then pick up gaps to correspondingly make leaves. Keep crocheting until before the next half double crochet position. Reach the corresponding position. Pick up the same position and work 1 half double crochet. Pick up the gap of the adjacent leaf and work 3 half double crochets. Work 1 half double crochet in the left side gap. 2 double crochets. Continue the rest according to the chart. Finally, in the gap next to the beginning chain, work 2 half double crochets. Then on the second chain of the beginning chain, pick up 2 strands. Crochet slip stitch to join. Pull tight. This completes the final round for the smallest size, regardless of which size you're making. After completing the final round, you need to break the yarn. Secure the ending yarn tail with 1 chain stitch. Leave a little yarn. Cut the yarn. Pull tight. For the other yarn tail, leave a long tail and cut the yarn directly. Then weave the yarn tail into the wrong side of the fabric. Simply weave the ending yarn tail in. Pay attention to weave it into the corresponding color area. You can weave in a few more stitches for security. For the other yarn tail, to secure it firmly with the adjacent position, pick up any one strand, and tie a knot to secure it. Chain 1 stitch here. Pull tight. This effectively secures it with a knot. Then weave it into the fabric. Similarly, try to weave it into the same color yarn area. You can weave in a few more stitches. The remaining yarn tails can be woven into the fabric using the same method. Complete it on your own. This concludes the crocheting of the body area. Next, crochet the front body. Pick up the body area, and work back and forth. The new stitches used include double crochet decrease, double crochet increase, single crochet. Some sizes also use half double crochet decrease. Watch my demonstration. Here I'll continue using this small sample for demonstration. Similarly, I'll still use the smallest size as an example. Start by positioning the right side of the body facing you, then refer to the chart to find row 1, the position corresponding to the beginning chain. Insert the hook into the corresponding stitch to join the yarn. Refer to the chart and pick up the corresponding yarn. Make 3 beginning chains after completion. For the smallest size, row 1 is crocheted on the wrong side. Turn the work. Pick up the adjacent gap to the left and work 1 double crochet. Change colors at the same time. Similarly, all color change yarn tails are placed on the wrong side of the fabric. Continue crocheting according to the chart afterwards. Keep crocheting until before the double crochet decrease at the end of the diagram. Reach the corresponding position. Pick up the gap to the left and the stitch of the second double crochet on the left. Work a double crochet decrease, since the next row starts with another color. Change colors while crocheting. First pick up the gap to work an incomplete double crochet. Then pick up the stitch to work an incomplete double crochet. At this point, take the starting color for the next row. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. Complete the double crochet decrease, and also complete the color change. Leave unworked. Row 1 is now complete. Move on to row 2. Make 3 beginning chains. Then turn the work. Follow the chart for crocheting downward, until before the last double crochet decrease. Reach the corresponding position. Work the double crochet decrease downward. The starting color for the next row still uses the edge color. No color change is needed while crocheting here, but you need to carry the yarn along. Pick up on the left side the stitch loops of the next 2 edge double crochets. Make incomplete double crochets. Then bring up the other yarn. Yarn over and draw through all loops. Complete the double crochet decrease. Row 2 is now complete. Row 3 will be crocheted using only one color. For the next row, start with another color. You can carry the yarn while crocheting, or simply cut off the other color and join the new yarn for the next row. I'm carrying the yarn to reduce yarn tails here. Crochet accordingly. Remember to switch colors for the last stitch. Once completed, if you carried the yarn along the edge, just pick up the new color directly. If the next row requires joining new yarn, then simply crochet the decrease with the original yarn here. Handle the yarn tail at the end before starting the next row, then join the corresponding yarn to continue crocheting. This completes row 3. For rows 4 through 7 afterward, if only one color is needed for the next row, decide whether to carry the yarn or join new yarn, based on the following row's color. Choose whether to carry the yarn or join new yarn, based on the next row's color situation, and always check the starting color of the next row, at the end of each row. When changing colors, always switch at the last stitch. When crocheting into the turning chain, always hook into the third chain of the turning chain. Insert hook through 2 strands, or hook into the gap between the turning chain and the adjacent stitch. Refer to the previous demonstration. Adapt according to actual situation. Complete these rows. After completion, crochet row 8. First follow the chart to crochet to the end, before the double crochet increase position. I've reached the corresponding position here. Pick up stitches along the edge downward. Make 2 double crochets in one position. One stitch. Note that the second stitch requires color change. 2 stitches. Complete the double crochet increase, and row 8 is completed simultaneously. Refer to the chart to finish row 9 afterward. After completing, crochet row 10. Starting from row 10, you need to crochet the left and right sides separately. First, continue crocheting one side with the previous yarn tail. Refer to the chart to finish rows 10 and 11 on this side. After completing, the remaining rows on this side will be crocheted with only one color. Reserve a long yarn tail for the other color, and fasten off the yarn. Then continue crocheting row 12 according to the chart. After completing, crochet row 13. After completing, continue crocheting row 14. Start by making 1 chain as your beginning chain. Turn the work. Then pick up the edge stitch, and work 1 single crochet. After that, continue to complete this row according to the chart. After completing, continue crocheting row 15. First make 2 chains as the beginning chain. Turn the work. Pick up the second double crochet stitch to the left. Work 1 single crochet. Pick up the adjacent stitch and work 1 slip stitch. Do not tighten the slip stitch here. The chart indicates this with an oval dot. Leave the remaining stitches unworked. Break the yarn. This completes row 15, and this side is now completed. Rejoin yarn to crochet the other side. On the right side of the fabric, refer to the chart to find the position corresponding to the beginning chain. Insert the hook to join the yarn. Then work back and forth according to the chart. The starting position changes on the last row. You'll need to rejoin yarn to crochet. Next, I'll demonstrate the method for the last row. Here I'll use this swatch for demonstration. First, break the yarn. Then refer to the chart to join yarn at the corresponding position. Make 1 beginning chain to start. Turn the work. Pick up the joining position and work 1 single crochet. Work 1 half double crochet along the edge. Then break the yarn. Hide all yarn tails to the wrong side of the fabric. Please complete it on your own. That concludes the explanation for the smallest size front body. Larger sizes will also use half double crochet decreases. Here I'll demonstrate the half double crochet decrease technique with this swatch. Note that my swatch position is arbitrary, mainly demonstrating the crocheting method. First, pick up the corresponding position on the left side. Work an incomplete half double crochet. Yarn over, insert. Yarn over and draw through. This is an incomplete half double crochet. Then pick up the left side to work an incomplete half double crochet. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook in once. Complete the half double crochet decrease. Note that if color change is needed, simply use the corresponding color when drawing through in the final step. That concludes the technique for the half double crochet decrease. At this point, the front body section for all sizes has been completed. Next, we'll explain how to crochet the back body. The first few rows here are identical to the front body method. Then work even for several rows without increasing or decreasing. During the last few rows, you'll need to crochet each side separately. If you need to join yarn when the thread runs out, remember to use the same color segment as the front body. Also, simply use the color change method to join the yarn. A color change technique on the half double crochet was demonstrated during crocheting. Let's learn this first before referring to the chart for crocheting. Then you can follow the pattern chart for crocheting. Other sizes will also encounter color changes on half double crochets. I'll demonstrate this method using this small sample. First, work an incomplete half double crochet, then pick up the color you want to change to. Yarn over and draw through in once. complete the half double crochet, and complete the color change. That concludes the explanation for the back body section. After completing, proceed with joining, specifically, joining the shoulders of the front and back bodies. Here we use single crochets and 2 chain stitches to join. I'll demonstrate this method below. I'll use this small sample for the demonstration. In practice, use the color from the last row of the front body for joining. Note that joining is done on the wrong side of the fabric piece. Turn the wrong side of the fabric outward. Then align the shoulders of the front and back pieces. Attach yarn from one edge. Pick up the stitch where you encounter a stitch. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet in the same position. Then crochet 2 chain stitches as a transition. Skip a distance of 2 chain stitches below. Pick up a corresponding position on the fabric piece. Work 1 single crochet. 2 chain stitches. Then work a single crochet after a similar distance. When you reach the edge, encounter chain stitches. Insert the hook into both loops of the top chain stitch. After completing this, I've reached the edge here. For other sizes, work single crochets and 2 chain stitches using the same method. Continue connecting downward. Keep connecting until you reach the edge. After finishing, turn to the right side to check the completed effect. The 2 fabric sides match up roughly, flat and neat. No obvious large spaces. Cut the yarn once the effect fits properly. Hide the yarn tail inside the fabric. Complete this part on your own. 1 shoulder connection is now done. Connect the other side using the same method. Complete this part on your own. The connection explanation is now complete. Next, add the edging, starting with the neckline edging, then the cuffs edging, and the hem edging. The crocheting method is the same, only the area and insertion points vary slightly. Note, use the dark color section for the hem edging. For the neckline edging and cuffs edging, you can use any remaining color section. 2 new stitch techniques will be used: front post double crochet and back post double crochet. Watch my demonstration. First, I'll explain the neckline edging. Position the back body toward you. Refer to the chart to find the corresponding position for the beginning chain. Pick up the stitch and insert the hook to join the yarn. Then make 3 beginning chains. Continue picking up stitches downward and along the side of the stitch patterns. Work the corresponding number of double crochets. Remember to weave in ends while crocheting. Once completed, check the effect of the neckline. After finishing, the fabric lies flat and looks neat. If it's not quite flat, you can adjust the stitch count as needed. The beginning chain counts as 1 stitch. The total stitch count must be a multiple of 4. Once everything looks good, pick up the top of the beginning chain and slip stitch. Pull tight. The first round is complete. Move on to crochet the second round. First make 2 beginning chains. Then pick up the adjacent double crochet to the left. Work a front post double crochet. Yarn over once. Insert the hook from the right side of the adjacent double crochet. Come out on the left side. Pick up the corresponding stitch. Then yarn over and pull through. Pull up to the same height as the beginning chain. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat twice. Once. Twice. Complete the front post double crochet. The technique is identical to double crochet, only the insertion point differs. Pick up the left side double crochet position. Work a back post double crochet. Yarn over once. Insert the hook from behind into the right side space of the corresponding double crochet. Then come out through the left side space. Pick up the corresponding stitch. Then yarn over and pull through. Next, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops twice. Repeat twice. Once. Twice. Complete the back post double crochet. Continue with an adjacent back post double crochet. After completing, work 2 front post double crochets to the left. Two back post double crochets. Then alternate 2 front post double crochets with 2 back post double crochets. Complete the last 2 back post double crochets. Hook into the top of the beginning chain. Join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. The second round is complete. Next, work round 3. The method is identical to round 2. Chain 2 as beginning chain. Then hook into the front post double crochet position to the left. Correspondingly make front post double crochets. Pick up adjacent back post double crochet positions. Correspondingly make back post double crochets. Continue with 1 back post double crochet on the left side. Continue with 2 front post double crochets afterward. Alternate with 2 back post double crochets. Meanwhile, the stitch pattern matches the previous round exactly. When encountering front post double crochets, correspondingly make front post double crochets. When encountering back post double crochets, correspondingly make back post double crochets. Repeat this process to continue crocheting. Complete the last stitch. Hook into the top of the beginning chain and slip stitch. No need to tighten here. Proceed to fasten off. Enlarge the loop on the crochet hook slightly. Leave a little yarn tail. Cut the yarn. Then find the second stitch on the left side of the beginning chain. Insert from the back into the stitch. Draw the reserved yarn through. Then insert into the center of the slip stitch loop from the wrong side. Pull the yarn through. Adjust slightly. Secure the yarn tail on the wrong side. Weave the remaining yarn tails into the fabric. Complete this part on your own. This completes the third round. The neckline edging explanation is now finished. Now, let's explain the cuff edging. The method is the same as the neckline edging, along the armhole position. First, work 1 round of double crochets. Then, work 2 rounds of back post double crochets and front post double crochets. Refer to the chart for crocheting. Remember to fasten off after completing. This completes the cuff edging explanation. Next, let's explain the hem edging. Here, I'm demonstrating with a small swatch. Locate the previous bodice. Beginning chain position. Find the chain corresponding to the beginning chain. At the chain on the left side, pick up the braid of the corresponding chain. The 2 strands near the edge. Insert the hook to join the yarn. Then make 3 beginning chains. Continue by picking up the 2 strands of the chain edge adjacent. Work 1 double crochet. Remember to weave in the ends. Crochet by picking up chains on the left side. A stitch pattern has been crocheted on this chain side. Pick up the insertion point of the stitch pattern. Work 1 double crochet. When encountering chains without crocheted stitch patterns later, always pick up the 2 strands near the edge to insert the hook. Correspondingly make double crochets. When encountering chain positions with crocheted stitch patterns, pick up the stitch pattern's insertion point and crochet double crochets. Continue crocheting according to the chart. After completing, check your stitch count. The turning chain counts as 1 stitch. Total stitches include this count. Join with a slip stitch at the top of the beginning chain. Pull tight. The first round is complete. For subsequent rounds, crochet corresponding chain stitches. Follow the chart to finish the remaining parts. Fasten off when completed. The hem edging is now complete. The entire edging section has been covered.